Tom. We have a very special guest. Would you like to introduce her?
I would love to. We have Chef Rasika Venkatesa, who is joining us today from New York City. She is just one of the bright souls of Top Chef Season 21, Wisconsin, one of our favorite chefs of this season. And we could not believe that we only had so much time with her this year. We thought she was going to come out on top at the end because she was so talented and so exciting as a chef. But that's what, the competition's all about, is that you never know what's going to happen. And we also have a double last chance kitchen appearance from Rasika to discuss as well. But Kevin, we have great news. Rasika is opening up a pop-up restaurant, Mythily, in Brooklyn, New York, in honor of her grandmother. And it's going to be celebrating the cuisine of South Indian food. And it's going to be from her roots. And it's going to be the best of Chef Rasika. And we're going to share all of that with our listeners right now. Chef Rasika, welcome to Pack Your Knives.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I listen to you guys all the time, and I think the way you dissect the episodes and the challenges and us as contestants, I think it's really great. You guys have a great lens of how you watch the show.
Oh, I really appreciate it. You are absolutely one of our favorite chefs to watch. I mean, we treat this show a little bit like it's a league or it's sports. And part of that is shtick, but part of it is very sincere because I think like the NBA, where play is very stylized, one of the cool things about watching Top Chef is you all have your own style and you get drawn to certain players who you just kind of want to imitate, whether it's in the kitchen or whatever. And you were one of those people for us. I was a little devastated when you went home because, as I said, you were executing risk better than I've seen any chef execute risk until you didn't execute risk very well. And I kind of wanted to ask you, is there a part of you at all that was yeah, maybe I should have just done 80% of the risk? And because the truth is, I'm a really skilled chef and I probably could have made it to the finale. I mean, do you kick yourself, or is it just hey, it happens, people lose, and it's just part of the game?
I mean, obviously, in the moment when things like that happen, especially when you've been having such a great run and the risks have been paying off, so you want to go that a little further to see if, going that extra mile will work out. But there's a lot of variable factors in play, especially on competitions like these. There's so many outside factors that are not in your control, and you can only pivot so much. And you also you have the dish running in your head. And this is a dish that I've made before, and it's been on the menu at Murad when I was working there. And I had guests love it. The restaurant loved it. And it was so quirky and so out of the box. And it kind of took people by surprise, but they ended up liking it. But obviously, making that dish in California, in that restaurant setting, using Dungeness crab and eggplant from the farm, that is completely different from doing it in a competition scenario where you're shopping at Whole Foods. And, you need to take all of this into account. So I think that I went with the idea of making this dish and I wanted to execute it properly. But at the end of the day, those variable factors kind of bit me in the ass.
I will say this, I am going to come to Brooklyn one day. I'm going to order off the menu the eggplant roulade. I mean, obviously, I can't order off the menu because you probably won't have fresh crab with you just kind of back in the fridge. But I swear I do want to have your eggplant roulade with crab and creme fraiche and all that lovely yucca and the garlic tahini and the mushroom conserva.
Yes.
I'm going to have your eggplant roulade, and I have no expectation other than it's going to be divine.
I love cooking with eggplant. I grew up with a lot of eggplant around me, and a lot of people either like eggplant or dislike it. There's no in between with eggplant, but I love eating it and cooking it. And it's unfortunate that, I went home on that dish.
Well, let's go to a positive here, because I think you just getting on Top Chef is really remarkable, how young of a chef you are. And considering you weren't born here in America and you come over to the States and then you decide, hey, I want to, at some point in your journey, you want to become a top chef. Take us through that journey. How did you get onto the show, and when did Top Chef as a TV program enter your world?
So I just want to correct you on one piece of information. I was born in the States, in Florida, and I moved back. My parents moved back when I was 3 years old. So I was brought up in India, like school, college, everything. And then I moved back in 2019 to the US.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
The whole journey has been a roller coaster. That's the best way I can put it. I think like moving to the US at like 20, 21 and, getting the first job out of, college at French Laundry. It was a lot. Like I was pushed to the sharks pretty immediately, but I had to survive. It's either sink or swim in an environment like that. But it taught me a lot of things, and it made me find that hunger and passion that chefs need to want to do something great in that world. And I just, back to back through COVID, I was working and just like putting my head down and working. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities that came in front of me and having mentors that really guided me, like Murad and Chef Michael Daly. And yeah, just having a great group of people around me that wanted to push me to my limits to see me shine. I think that's the biggest part of it. And my family and my grandmother. I think my grandmother is the biggest inspiration to me. I want to promote this food because growing up with her food, it's just comfort. And I want people to experience that comfort through my lens, because I would like to say, I mean, I have her genetics, so maybe I have her magical hands too.
I'm excited to talk about grandmothers because there's something about grandmothers and food. I mean, the first recipes I think most of us make were probably our grandmother's recipes. But first I want to ask you, like, what is the application process at the entry level of French Laundry? Did they just like throw you into a quick fire? How does one apply? Like, I'm just dying to know. It's arguably the most prestigious, storied restaurant, and we can debate the value of that prestige or whether it deserves it. But like, it is sort of synonymous with like haute cuisine in the United States, certainly the Western United States. What is the application process like if you're 20 or 21 years old and you're like, I want to work here? How does that start?
Yeah, I remember it so clearly. I was applying to a bunch of restaurants in the US, East Coast and West Coast. And I was using Culinary Agents. It's a great platform for cooks, sous chefs, like anyone in the industry to kind of find openings in like Michelin-starred kitchens and fine dining restaurants. And I saw the French Laundry is hiring commis. And the French Laundry hires a lot of commis. It's like a whole factory of commis working there. So they hire, they constantly hire because it has high turnover as well. So I applied and I got a reply from one of the sous chefs and I'm like, oh my God, what? And it's for offering a stage. And, you don't pack up your bags and move across the world for a stage, but I did that. And I moved to Napa and it wasn't even a confirmed job. I staged for 2 days and then only did I get confirmed that, hey, you're going to be a commis at this restaurant. Here you go. Here's your offer letter. So you kind of need to prove yourself in those 2 days of stages.
And what does that involve, the 2 day of stages? Are you just chopping? Like, what is it exactly?
You shadow the chef de parties basically during service. You kind of like on one day you work maybe on the garde manger section with those chefs. They kind of see what your work ethic is like, what your attitude is like, how much you're pushing, how much you're hustling, the anticipation. So all of these things, they see like if you're passionate and hungry for it, you're going to push yourself even more.
It's a training camp invite in the parlance of the NBA.
Boot camp.
Yes.
Yes. It sounds like a lot like Top Chef, where you're put in a lot of pressure situations and you have to perform under those pressure cookers and having to perform in front of a lot of eyeballs and a lot's on the line, right? Like that probably in the context of what trains you for an appearance on Top Chef, that experience and at Murad probably as good as anything.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think like Murad really helped me think on my feet because like just climbing up the ranks really quickly in my career, it was so fast forward that I had to learn a lot of skills on the fly without any actual training. So I think that really helped me to go on the competition. And honestly, like I when I applied for Top Chef and they reached out to me, I was unsure. Like, I am so young and probably like quarter of the experience as everyone else on the show. Can I really like stand up to them? And can I really put myself on this platform and succeed? And that was the biggest thing I was battling with. Like, am I ready for this? But I mean, I didn't have much to lose because I am still like at the starting stages of my career. I can do this now and use the experience that I have and kind of showcase what I believe in on this platform. And it's not like I have multiple James Beard Awards or Michelin stars or anything like that. I just have myself. I have Rasika and I have my grandmom's cooking. So
what were the circumstances? And this is always an awkward question because I'm asking you to and offer a theory as to how you get from station cook to chef de cuisine in a prominent restaurant in a very prominent dining city like San Francisco. Like, why do you think it happened for you that way? I mean, how much of it was circumstantial? How much of it was just, you're a badass? How much of it was, hey, I got a stroke of luck or COVID cleared out the kitchen? I mean, that's an unbelievable rise at that level in that kind of place.
yeah, I mean, great question. I always think about this as well. And I think like right place and right time had a big factor to that as well. The period of COVID was very important for me in my career because like everyone got laid off in most of the restaurants in the United States. So did we. But Murad actually opened for doing meal kits and cooking for people in need that were affected with COVID with Family House. And I needed a job. I had to pay rent. I had just moved from India. I didn't have any savings and I was like in a hole. And then our culinary director at that time reached out to me and he was like, do you want to make 1,000 meals a week and work in this 2-person team and, kind of cook? And I'm like, cooking, count me in. I just want to get out of the house and be in a kitchen. I think that period working side by side with him, he really saw that I can do more than just cook and I can also manage a kitchen because he kind of left me in charge of that COVID kitchen for a while he worked on another sister restaurant. And I was able to do that, luckily. So when the official reopening happened, Murad reached out to come back as a sous chef. And then within 6 months, I got promoted to CDC.
That's incredible.
Wow. Yeah, incredible. And I think you going on Top Chef, because there's not a lot of representation for Indian or Indian American chefs on Top Chef. Was Padma someone that was an inspiration for you as someone to look up to or someone who had reached the full food culinary world in America that you just were like, I want to be on that show? And how much of an inspiration was she? And also just, did it feel like there was any sort of weight on your shoulders as an Indian chef that you were coming into Top Chef and not too many chefs from that background?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. When I applied for this season, like we were under the impression that Padma was still a judge and a host. And I was so excited. Like I have been watching Top Chef since I was a teenager. I've been watching her since I was a teenager growing up. So, and she's from Chennai. She's from my city. Her family's from like Besanagar, which is like so close to my house. And I was really, really looking forward to cooking for her. But yeah, I mean, everything happens for a reason. I love Kristen and she's a great host and great judge. So hopefully my paths will cross with Padma sometime. But yeah, the pressure of being one of the few Indian chefs in the whole history of Top Chef, it was there, especially because I was going in with the sole purpose. I was going there to cook some Tamil food and cook dishes that people watching can relate to, like the korkate and the panyaram and the rasam. Like these are things that, South Indians will understand. But I didn't cook this food like in my day-to-day of my job. I was cooking in a Moroccan restaurant or a French restaurant. So I didn't really practice this food in my day-to-day. It would only be at home. But right before going to Top Chef, my training was, I need to cook these dishes that I grew up with and I need to be good at it, and I just wanted to represent that. It was a gut feeling and I wanted to go with it.
You want to talk about that?
Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying this episode of Pack Your Knives and would like to listen to the rest of it, please become a paid subscriber.
Just go to packyourknives.com and sign up for an annual subscription. That's packyourknives.com.